back to another episode of Namaste Y'all. I am Dr. Boyce, and I'm so excited to have my panel today joining me for a conversation on dating in a big age. Woo, y'all. Okay, so what I found in season 1 is y'all like these conversations about marriage and relationships, and guys send me a husband of my dreams. Yeah, the views be up. And, so I started this platform talking about self-love. That's the most important thing. And my journey started leading up to the end of my divorce, going through divorce, really reconstructing my beliefs and deconstructing them and thinking about my life in deep and meaningful ways. I share those things on episodes too. But yet and still, we see a lot of clicks when we talk about relationships and dating and all the things that people are trying to figure out. So I decided, let's put together a panel. A panel of what I consider successful African Americans in the DFW area that I have had the pleasure of knowing in one capacity or the other. But also people that are not close enough in my circle for me to know the intricacies of y'all's journeys. Because that's important to me. So as we go through the episodes, when I'm asking questions, it's not like shade. It's like I'm really trying to understand because I don't know all of their journeys either. So I look forward to getting to know and learn more about you all and y'all's experience with dating in a big age. That's this episode title. Because what I found is dating in a big age is different than dating in your 20s, which I consider a little age if you're one of those out there. Yeah, we had some different ideas when we were younger. And so I want to start in always by anchoring us into a book. So the book I'm going to show you for this week is Bell Hooks' Salvation. If you get ready to read this book, though, you need to go back to Bell Hooks' book, All About Love, first, and then come to Salvation. But this book is so important because I was just telling the panelists, there's so many platforms and podcasts and people that get a lot of traction, make a lot of money off of talking about dating and relationships. And a lot of it is giving battle of the sexes kind of feel. You know what I'm saying? It's giving us versus them to the point where it's almost like, what's the objective? Like, what's our intention here? So Bell Hooks' book is so important because she argues that love is not merely a personal or romantic idea. It's a revolutionary force that's capable of healing us from the trauma that we've experienced as Black people, especially in America. And so if there's any way towards a path of liberation and us building our communities and having all of this, ideals realized about what American success is and all these things, that we need each other. And that the foundations of our homes are built on our ability to love each other. And that's not some romantic thing, but that's our ability to really build foundations that are strong, that transfer and extend into our families and communities, right? Stronger relationships and stronger love, self-love first, leads to better relationships and better communities, right? So that's the gist of the book. So I would encourage you, if you haven't already, to read that. That's the basis for the conversations we're having today. Okay. So, I want to start by having y'all all introduce yourselves, tell the audience who you are, and then we're going to dive into some conversations because we got a lot of topics, y'all. And I'm going to be honest, I don't know where this conversation is going to go, but it's going to be good. It's going to be something you need to know, especially if you ain't in the big age yet. So, let's start on this side and we'll go around and do introductions.
All right. Hey, everybody. My name is Brandi, and I'm happy to be here with the panel.
Yes.
Hello, everyone. My name is Kendrick Gibson. I'm also happy to be here with the panel.
I'm Brian Blackmore. I'm happy as well. Looking forward to a great conversation.
Hello, I'm Bashia Johnson. I am happy to be here.
Very happy.
I'm Keron Wright, and I am happy to be here too.
Yes, thank y'all so much. So I sent along, lengthy
Dissertation-ish,
with some bullet points for everybody to consider prior to this conversation. I'll be honest, it's gonna go wherever because I think one thing that we have to ground down into is this idea of purposeful partnerships. Okay, so when I think about dating, I think about like, what's the purpose of it? And I feel like not having alignment on what the purpose of it is the cause of so much of all of the bickering and the conversation. So this week, there was a clip that went viral. Of a man, a Black man, talking about why he was a top-tier man. And he says, these modern women don't deserve me. I'm a top-tier man. And so the lady asked him, I think her name is Donnie, she asked him, like, what does it mean to be a top-tier man to you? And he says, well, I'm 6'4". I make well over 7 figures. I'm a Black man. And he starts immediately to go into these egoic spewings, is what I call them, to the point where I'm like, okay, sassy Sam. Like, that's what you got? Like, that's what you leave with? Like, I'm somebody you should want because look what I make and look how tall I am. Like, What? So I sent that to y'all because I wanted to start with this the type of shit I'm talking about. Like, what are we doing? So then she goes into what it means to be a top tier man for her. And then so we have all these conversations and I'm like, okay, I think it's important for us to start with intentions. Like, what does it mean if you're looking for purposeful partnership? Why do y'all think it's so complicated? And everybody has all of these different, definitions. What does it mean to you to have purposeful partnership? I think it's just a mess right now.
Well, I think I would say I don't think everybody's on the same plan. I think once you kind of get to a big age, I think we talk about, I think that everybody's on a timeline. So it's like, all right, well, we're 3 weeks in. We should be, what's the title? Like, where are we going?
You
it's
said
like,
3 weeks.
Yeah, people are quick nowadays. People don't feel like they have time to waste because we're older. So it's like, hey, what are we doing and how fast can we get there instead of like allowing things to be organic?
3 weeks.
It's quick.
That's new for me.
It's a plan.
Okay.
We at a big age.
Okay.
So at a big age, you weed through all the bull. So if we talking, what's the plan? What we doing?
Okay, I think also this is going to be different because half of my panel are divorced. Half of my panel haven't been married yet, and we're at a big age. So I think when I hear somebody say that, I'm like, get away from me. 3 weeks, you cannot, because people trying to possess me. You know, I have situations. I'm be talking my business on this podcast. I talk, after things happen, but people try to possess me, and I'm like, hold on, I'm still trying to get to know you. Go over there, like stay at an arm's length. They're like, come here, girl, let me take you to Jamaica. I'm like, go away from me. And so 3 weeks, I think it's different. When somebody hasn't done it, but when you have spent a decade of your life married to somebody, and then you have to pick yourself back, I think the pacing is different. It's like, slow down. What are we doing here? Back up.
But sometimes we get too comfortable at the same time. Like a lot of times, especially at this big age, you have all your things lined up. You got your job, you got your career, you got your kids, you got your family, friends, you have your routine. So it's like, how you go come in my life and interrupt that, or are you bringing something to the table? What are you bringing for me to either A, commit, or B, move around? Because I'm good.
Yeah.
Like, I'm good.
It's tricky, Bashia.
That's added.
Go ahead, Keron. Go ahead, Keron. I see some
Deep breath.
This side.
Okay. I get that. I hear that all the time. What are you bringing to my life to make my life easier? And that's fair. What I don't like about that idea is the presumption that this relationship going forward is supposed to be easy. Like, we're not going to run into hard times. It's not going to be hard. I don't like that because, and again with this 3 week thing, right, we all come in with our own ideas and plans. I come in with what I want in a relationship and where I expect to be at a certain period in time, right? Or let me change that from expectation to where I want to be. I think there's a difference. But when we come into this relationship and it's, you got to make my life easier, I think what that does is sets us up for failure. Because as soon as something doesn't feel easy, well, it's not for me. It wasn't meant to be. And I don't think that's right.
Quick to move around.
Yeah.
I don't think that's right.
Yeah.
That's tricky.
Yeah, very. I think so. I think it's a caveat to it. So I do understand what he's saying too. But I also feel like if my life is not necessarily hard, and I have, like you say, a routine and things are going smooth, in my opinion, single and by myself, I don't necessarily want to add a person to make it hard. I mean, I would think.
I don't want any more difficulty.
It's an investment either way.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
And you don't want to waste your time. If you come into play, then let's talk about it. Because I might want to play too.
Okay,
And I think that's,
okay,
I was
let's
going to
come
say
back
that's
to alignment.
important.
Okay, because Brandi
because
has some-
I wanted to add to that. I think is very important to offer up whatever your intentions are from the beginning. Because if you don't, and we're not on the same path from the get-go, like maybe my desire is to be marriage and the guy's is not. So if we don't have those difficult and important conversations up front, I feel like we're already, there's already a disconnect. And I think we have to get to a place where we're more honest with ourselves and then able to be more honest with other people about what it is we're actually looking for before we even go forward. Because like you said, you get to the 3 week mark and because my intent is to be married, well, it's like, okay, what are we doing? But if somebody else is just coasting, I would have liked to know that 3 weeks ago, so I don't feel like I wasted my time,
Sure.
Yeah.
You have something?
I definitely agree with the combination of the conversations that's going on. 3 weeks is very quick. I'm a slow pacer myself, and I definitely agree. building it organically. We can sit, we can talk, we can be on the same page. But at the same time, you're sending your representative in them 3 weeks. I got to really get to know you. We got to go through some situations, then we start talking about some things. But we can definitely decide on, what's your purpose, what's your plan. We can iron all of that out. But at the same time, I think that, I'm looking for a friend.
Yeah.
And then someone that could be my best friend. And then grow from there. And that's just something that I learned from my previous marriage, because it was a friendship in the beginning, and then the friendship was kind of, just kind of got a little, well, we were just kind of cool. It wouldn't, the friendship wasn't, and the friendship was there with it, but you wouldn't having fun like that. So that's what I think with me. I always say straight up, let's build on the friendship, because if we build on the friendship, to me, that's the foundation on going to the,
That makes sense.
Yeah.
And I think alignment can be discovered early on. Like,
Oh, yeah.
like for me, it's like, okay, it's the first time you sitting down talking to me. Like I am already. I think if we start to view in a big age, if you're younger, and follow me. When you're younger, I think you're looking for reasons to be with somebody. You sit down on a date, or you was like, they cute, you cute. You're like, oh, you got them little stars in your eyes, But now I approach it as a researcher. You know what I'm saying? Hi, I'm Dr. Stephanie Boyce. I'm a researcher, right? I'm looking at it like data collection. I'm talking to you, you're talking to me, and as we're getting to know each other, I'm collecting data, and I'm trying to see, there are different categories. For me, there's a category for short term partnership and long term partnership. You know what I mean? With somebody like you're saying, like, what's your intentions to do that? And somebody might be like, hey, I'm just looking for a good time. I'm just trying to chill. I ain't trying to do that. And that's good to know, because now I can say, okay, you might be cool for short term partnership. Like maybe we can hang out, have fun. If that's what I'm doing. It's summertime. Sometimes I got a little extra time. Maybe we go to see a concert. Right. In the fall, I'm busy. I'm not gonna be tinkering. But to take the time, because I feel like if we view it as an investment, I'm not investing my time, energy, effort, or resources with somebody that I don't have alignment with. And so what I find is sometimes like people might like me and I don't like you back. And I am not going to let you, because you are a man that wants to pursue something, spend your money or your time. And I hear people say it all the time. Like, if he want to take me out, if he want to do that, if he want to trick me. And I hear it, and people will look and be like, girl, you single now. Like, and you looking good. Like, what? I'm like,
it don't matter.
What are your intentions? Like, I don't want that man spending his money on me, trying to take me. So, I don't want anything from baby, because it's a woman that would love that. All them good morning texts, they would love that attention, all that. Baby, I'm asleep. I don't even need that from you, my boy. And so
you're investing.
It's an investment.
All right, so
Keron is an attorney.
I get caught in the nuance of these things, because I hear these things. I hear this. What is your long-term goal? My long-term goal, I want to be married and I want to have a family. Great. No one can object to that. No one's going to object to, I want someone to be with for the rest of my life and I want to have a family. There's no real objection to that. I don't think any one of us in this room, I presume, is not going to be, that's not my guy. I don't want everyone to be married. I never want to have a family, right? So there's always there's some alignment in our long-term goals. Yeah. This alignment issue, though, I don't think you figure out if you're aligned without going through the investment. You see what I'm saying? Like, you can't just meet me the first time and be like, oh, he's nice. Oh, he told me he's a lawyer. Oh, okay, he wants to get married. Oh, he likes children. We might be aligned. No, I think that's just, maybe that's things we want, and that's good. But I don't think that means alignment. I think alignment takes time to get there. That's like the idea of, like, that's almost like love at first sight.
You don't believe in that?
No, not anymore.
I don't believe in love at first sight.
Yeah,
When I was 20,
I was those early
Hollywood makes you think. But my thing is, but with the time, like you're saying, Keron, no, with the time, and I'm going to let one of y'all hop in, because I'm not trying to talk as much. With the time, though, as you're going through the time, like, I feel like, isn't that when you're finding out if the alignment is there? Or if, because, like, for instance, let's just say in the first month, like y'all say 3 weeks. And I thought 3 weeks was ambitious. But when I'm thinking about it, in about a month, because what'll happen is, like, if you're talking to somebody and y'all are talking on the phone and y'all are, like, really getting to know it, like, every day. In a month, I can call it. I can call, if this is something that's worth, I'm going to really turn my attention towards you now. Or you probably can just go ahead. And it was nice getting to know you. But I think it's a loving action to not hold up somebody if you know. I can tell I don't like you.
Yep.
Like that's just a bare like.
Oh yeah,
Attraction has to be mutual.
for sure.
And I think a lot of times what I see with guys is it's like, I'm going to save this for the sex part of the conversation because we're going to talk about it. But I think sometimes what I see is guys, they lead with their eyeballs. And it's like, ooh.
Yeah.
And then it's like, okay, that's fine. And then you have to there has to be some layers. You know, I meet guys that don't read books. And it's like, what do you think? What could we talk about? You don't read books. Hello, I'm Dr. Boyce, like, what are we gonna do here? Like, I'm a big ass nerd. Like, what are we doing? But you want to look at me and be like, oh, let me take you somewhere. It's like, ugh, you just want to touch me. You know, I know what this is. So it's like, I feel like you're assessing that alignment as you go along, and it doesn't take long for some people to be like, hey, it seems like you kind of want to do that, and I kind of want to do this. It was nice getting to know you. Nobody's wrong.
But I also think that when you meet certain people, sometimes they can bring things out of you. So maybe they're not the person that you are quote unquote maybe attracted to, but maybe they've never been exposed. So I think sometimes we can prematurely like eliminate people simply based on, well, you're not where you are. You're not where I am today. Whereas I've never been exposed to it. So how am I supposed to know that I'm supposed to be interested in that? So it's really hard to decipher, okay, is this person can be quote unquote coachable and be somebody that I can be with long term just by me growing with them. But that's just hard because if you can do that for 6 months and you wake up, man, you was never trying to be who I thought you were trying to be. Like you told me you wanted to learn to be. So it's like
See, are we doing coachable in the big age though? Let's talk about it. Are we doing coachable at the big age?
You know, in some cases you have to coach because it's kind of like training people how to treat you in a sense.
That I get.
Small.
But I don't want a
example.
project.
I don't want a
I'm not building a bear.
Listen,
I'm building a bear.
doing it.
No more potential.
Something like even something so simple like opening my car door or opening my door, right? So if I'm approaching my door and you're not walking that way with me, I'm gonna wait. And so that's coaching in a sense. And some pick up, let me get your door.
Yeah.
And then others, you're already ahead of me because that's what you're into that. That's what you're doing. You're groomed in that way, exposed, like you said. You're already, that's your lifestyle. But then there's others that you're like, okay. And then they picking up on it because, she's that type of woman. So I need to always.
Because another woman might not care about that. She might just hop in and go and be like, she chilling. So
and that happens all the time. Sense. And that's, so when you get at this big age, it's like, there were so many women with these, I don't want to say lower expectations, but that's pretty much what it is.
Too.
And there's some that expect a little more.
The bar's in hell. I'm just saying. The bar is in hell for some people.
All I'm asking for you, I just want my door open, and you can't do that.
Do you follow that up with a conversation, though?
Yes. I'm gonna talk to you.
Yeah,
I'm gonna talk to you.
That's good.
Once he opens your door, what do?
I say thank you, and I get in the car.
You don't reach over and open his door?
Oh yeah, I definitely do that. Oh yeah,
I don't.
Okay.
Oh yeah,
I just sit there. Thank you.
No, that's something.
Reach over and open his door.
I believe in partnership. If I'm expecting it from you, if I'm expecting it from you, I want you to do it. I want to do it to you as well. So
That's one of those kind of those old school type of etiquette things. And I've experienced it plenty of times where I've opened doors for women and they just get in and sit. And I hate. Well, I'm going to say it. I'm going to say it. I hate to say it. I'm going to say it. I mean, these women, y'all know they are. So immediately I text my friend. I go, man, she didn't even get my door. She didn't even reach over and unlock my door.
But see, that matters for you. But I think for some men, that might not even be a thing.
Right. I agree.
Yeah.
It matters.
So I think it's about getting to know the person and like what
and it's
they
like
care
trial
about.
and error. Like you just kind of figure it out. You assess the situation, and then you figure out, okay, they not about their life, and that's okay.
That or they need a
coach,
But
coaching or a conversation because I may not have known that you intended for me to open the door. So, hey babe, when I get in the car, if I open your door, do you mind? Oh, okay. Let me know because otherwise you assume that I do know that, and then you hold it against me, and it's like I feel like that. And I'm not picking on you in particular, but I'm just saying I think that's where the conversations come in play.
It's one of those key markers that we all in society tend to kind of use, right? The idea that he's not ahead of me to open the door, right? Or he's not going to pick me up on the first date, or things like that, right? We use those as kind of markers. We rely on them, and frankly, I don't like those. I like to come in a relationship with my heart and who I am. And I'm going to be good because I want to be good. And I'm going to be good to you because I want to be good to you. Right? Now, whether at some point we realize we do not align, that's fine. But you're not going to see me, it's not going to be a situation where I'm not going to be good as I can be. Right? There's a lot of things I don't know. Right? But I'm going to try to do that for you. So, but I use that as a way to be like, well, you know, I use that kind of one of those markers, right? I'll pick you up on your date, I'll open the door. Yeah. I mean,
That's fair.
If you're demanding me to be
I
here,
think
pick
it
your
just
first
depends
day open
on
the door,
what your thing is. I'm gonna give you an example because I don't lean over and do the open the door thing, but I've never been with anybody who cared. At least if they did, they didn't tell me. I just get in and look cute. But also, I'm gonna mark. There was a couple of times I went outside this summer. When I came, I asked like, "What's your drink of choice?" Because I have a bar thingy in my house, and I come down for my ride with a shot poured. You know, like let's get it. And now he's like, "Oh, ain't nobody ever bought me a shot when I came." I'm like, "Turn up." You know what I'm saying? Like now we're talking about reciprocity. I think what that looks like. My issue, and I'm gonna turn this way because I know it's a lot of talking on this side. My issue is I think in 2024, to Basha's point, when you have gone through a journey of self-love and you're not desperate and you're not thirsty and you're contented, I think this is the biggest issue that I would like to hear y'all talk about, because for me, that might be the scariest thing. Is that I be at home, when I tell y'all I be enjoying myself. Like I laugh, I trips myself out, I cooks myself good food. And a part of that at the age of 36 was learning to pleasure myself, which is another part of the conversation we're gonna have later. What is the utility of a man to a woman that can care for herself? Like, men don't build stuff no more. You know, like, I got a daddy that take a hammer and some wood and build a bench. Like, men don't build stuff. Men don't fix stuff. The maintenance man comes to fix stuff that breaks. I have security because I stay in a building that is very secure and very locked down. I have a pistol that keeps me. So, like, if I have these means of, and I'm saying these things particularly because Keron is getting bubbly on the inside. If I have protection, if I have provision, if I have satisfaction with my pleasure, what to me is the presence of a man? And I'm not saying it's not one because I desire one, but I'm asking you then as a question, what is it?
I think everybody wants to be with somebody. Let's go back to what Keron said earlier. No one wants to be by themselves. I don't care how much wealth you have, how many accolades you have. You could line all your goals up and you can meet. Nobody wants to grow old and be by themselves. Whether you're married with somebody or you have a girlfriend, boyfriend, or whatever, no one wants to be alone. So you can have your gun and you can have your toy to pleasure you, but it's nothing like having
nothing trumps that companionship.
nothing, right? Nothing trumps that companionship. There's only so much you can do by yourself.
It is.
I mean,
Because now what I hear a lot of women saying, they're tired of the girl trips. They want to take trips with a man. They done with the girl trips, especially like around my age. They've turned up. They've done the girl trips, and that's cool.
I can do a trip by myself. This is the thing. I feel like
They have
all of that is fine and good if this is what I'm getting to with the question about utility, Keron, before you explode. At some point, if you have these things going and your peace is preserved, which for me, that's my priority. I start every prayer with God, my priority is inner peace. If my peace is preserved and it's here and nobody's disturbing it, then the question becomes, is a man's presence going to bring more peace, extend that, add to it? Or is it going to be another thing I have to do and add to my list? Some men, if I meet a man that is not generous of heart, see, this is the problem with the conversations. I feel like a lot of these women are like, do he pay my bills? Do he? And it's like, it's giving ego. Yeah. But what I'm saying is connecting with you and you becoming another source of energy from me, does it add value to my life? That's fair. Because for me, I can't say for all women, because y'all be out here dating and stuff. Immediately by proximity, you're going to start reaping benefits of my presence. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying, like, even getting to know somebody, even within like a first month, you're talking every day, they say something, immediately I'm going to become a resource to you. Whether it was like I was cooking something and I put something aside because you eat fast food every day, you could die, it's not good for you. I put something aside for you. Like when you have time, swing by, pick it up. Or you saying something about your kid is having a struggle. Well, I got a whole bank of resources over here from my days in education. And let me email you something that you could, you know what I'm saying? Like, immediately that's energy from you. So what is it? Y'all saying you want somebody to lay next to you, you want to be by yourself on the trip. Well,
But
It depends
Yeah.
on if it
You're okay
ain't
with that.
giving no benefits to my life or to expanding my peace and my joy. Why?
Utility.
Utility. It's a strong word I
All
chose
of
with
these.
great intention. Utility.
Our conversations start from a presumption, and I struggle because I struggle myself. I struggle to find
always one.
where right. I struggle to find
Okay.
where we start without that presumption, right? How do we start a conversation about what a man and a woman supposed to look like without that presumption? And we're not at, and of course the presumption is, like back in the day, a man would build a house. He'd be out there hunting and bringing home the food, right? So we start with this presumption. If I can go to the grocery store and cook my own food, and I go to work and pay my own bills, and I got the rose, I'm good, right? So
Do not have a rose, just FYI. That's being grossly specific.
I'm good, right? But I think just to the point, I think it's innate in us to want a companion,
Yeah.
right? So even if I get a companion that, okay, he's not building a house because I can go rent my own place and buy my own house, or he's not out there killing bugs and changing light bulbs. There's still something innate about wanting a companion there, and so I feel like that presumption gives me a sense of. Gives me that I'm an independent woman and I don't need no man kind of thing.
Yeah, no, but
That's
if you've
what I-
had to
that's
be
what I-
independent,
that's what I-
even if that's not your first choice, for most of us, it ain't our first choice to be independent. It would have been nice to not be, but if you've had to be, then it's like, okay, now adding something else into this would have to lift the load, would have to
Lighten my load a bit.
But the question then becomes, how does that look to you? Because you can add a man that's gonna love you, but he ain't gonna. He's
It's going to give you something else to do.
You're still gonna pay the bills.
Yeah.
He can love you with all his heart, right? He's gonna love you. He's gonna die. He's gonna die for you, all your heart. And but if what remains is you are still doing the same things you were doing before, except you have this person when you walk out in the world loves me with all their heart. What's wrong with that?
Well, let me say
honestly-
the problem. Let me say the
What's
problem.
wrong with that?
Go ahead, Brandi, because I want to add that I think the problem with what we see, especially Bell Hooks talks about, is if our drive towards material possessions and things and all of this puts such a strain and a pressure that now as a woman we're carrying an emotional load, we're carrying a domestic load. Because before you put kids, if you at a little age, before you put kids on top of a lot of this stuff is a different conversation. That's why I be listening to a lot of these podcasts like y'all ain't got no kids, y'all ain't got no 401k, because once you get to a certain point. Where as a woman, you're working full time and you have to do all the financial burden, blah, blah, blah. But when you get home, if you're married to one, he ain't washing his own drawers. I'm washing the drawers. I'm folding them. I got to go to work. I got to do this. I got to do that. All of these things have to be on your back. At some point, if the partnership doesn't lift and consider you, and if you're not being loved well, you will break down bad. And Brandi is going with the next point, Keron, that you're
No,
going to.
I actually just wanted to kind of focus in on his point because I actually made the mistake of overlooking somebody who wasn't doing the things with all the bells and whistles. They were merely loving me in a way that I didn't even realize that I needed to be loved. Loving my daughter in a way that I didn't realize that I needed at the time. And I overlooked that because I felt like I was looking for something else. And so the fact that you said that really just kind of struck a chord with me because I'm like, wow, like I think we get too caught up in what it's supposed to look like or what a man is supposed to be doing and not really appreciating what the man is actually doing.
There you go, Brandi.
You know what I
There you go,
mean?
Brandi.
Well,
I love it.
and
It
I
sounds good.
listen, I ruined a relationship trying to compare what someone had done for me previously to what this man was sitting in my daughter's room with a crown, holding the baby, and I'm cooking, did not even take that into consideration. Wow. And yet I was trying to force him to be somebody else. And so like you said, I feel like we have to get to a point where we realize what is it going to be for us? Like he may not be building the house and he may not be doing this, but if he's doing other things that you said really truly just tap into a place that takes you beyond wherever your wildest dreams could take. You have to give that person some credit too.
Yeah, what I hear you saying though is that he loves you well. If a
He
man
did.
is loving you well, it's
But I
not to
didn't
say
recognize
about
it,
building
though.
the house, like
Yeah.
technically building. When I say utility, I mean, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You pay for the house.
Yeah.
But when I'm talking
And
about
honestly, he couldn't, and that's the craziest part. He
Okay.
made less than I did. Like, it was just
Yeah. No,
and
I've been
so in
there.
my mind, I'm looking at those things
Right.
and not really appreciative of the minor things. And I think that was, kind of where I was going with it. But
I
Absolutely.
think, but my point though is, if what we go after is the love, if what we go after is someone's heart, if we find someone's heart, and we can truly understand and say, you know what, I love this person, and I know right now, we live in this penthouse and things are great. And if I can truly say to myself, if we weren't in the penthouse and we were in this car with no AC, and he had to drop me off at work, and he had to go to work, and he had to pick me up, then we both had to go get the kids, and then only one of us can go to the game because we all working, would we still have the same compassion for each other, right? And so, but beyond all that though, from the way I see love is, if I am that person, if I am loving you that way, you're never gonna be the only one cooking and cleaning drawers.
Right.
No.
No matter what I'm doing.
I agree.
that's true.
I agree.
No matter what I'm doing.
That's
You
true.
know what I'm saying?
That's true.
It's just
Yeah.
not possible.
Well, that's
It's
a
not ideal.
conversation that has to be had then, because what I'm suggesting is when I hear you say he might not make more than you, I'm saying like, I've been there,
Yeah.
and what I hear you saying is that that he was able to love you well, and so somebody being able to love you well lifts the load. It allows you to move lightly through the world, and it's conversations. A lot of times, I feel like a lot of people of other races and ethnicities, we don't even have to have certain conversations about the way the women are cared for. It's just like this presumption that she is not as strong as me, so I have to lift. I have to do more lifting for her. With Black women, we have a history of people looking at us saying, girl, you strong. Girl, you superwoman. Girl, you can do it all. And now I've gone to a place where I take that off. There was a guy trying to get me. He was like, wow, you're so independent. I was like, I'm not independent. I'm very dependent. I'm independent when I have to stay on myself, but I have to stand by myself. But if you come into proximity to me, I'm going to lean on you. I am not independent. I am going to lean on you. So what does that look like for you as a man? What does it look like for me to be able to lean on you? And if I can't, why are you here?
Yeah.
I think
That's not just financially. Though.
No, I agree. I think the key is going back and recognizing how somebody's loving them. 'Cause I've been there too, and I've been there as the guy, right? Not necessarily. I've been there as the guy, where with the way I care and love someone, is not the way they want it or see it, and they just don't see it, and they think, and it doesn't work because they don't see it.
Yeah.
And even when I try to explain it, they don't see it. Because
Definitely be in a
that's
space
not what they
to
want.
be, accepting of
That's
that.
not what they want.
And I wasn't there.
Yeah.
I can
Oh, yeah.
honestly say
That's not what you want.
That makes sense.
So.
Did y'all have something to add before we
No,
move on?
I agree wholeheartedly with what he's saying. I think it's like everybody has what moves them internally, and sometimes it's money, sometimes it's just different things that you may very well be doing something like you were saying, and they don't receive it, they don't see it, and I don't know why that is, because you're looking for something that you didn't get previously. So now, okay, well, this guy didn't make more than me, or this girl didn't do whatever. Well, next time I want this right here. And I want it to look like that. And if it doesn't, I don't see it. I don't care how you do it. Or you can put in my face flashcards. And I don't see it because it does not look the way I feel like it should look.
I also think communication is key, and a lot of people don't communicate. A lot of people don't put their expectation out there. A lot of people don't even just share what their thoughts are. Like, hey, I like my door open, or hey, I like my door open as well.
reciprocity.
Reciprocity.
So it's like, if we're not communicating, then we're not growing. So either we're growing together or we're growing apart.
Right.
But people are putting, like you said earlier, Ken, you said people are sending their representatives.
Correct.
I think too, if you are so concerned about upholding an image, and I can say as a recovering people pleaser, I was always so concerned about, and especially when I was heavily indoctrinated. By the time I was getting married in the church that I was in, I had been discipled, and there was a way a woman should be, and this is the way you should treat your husband. This is what a woman's role should be. And when you put those things on, I think you get further away from what's real. You get further away from what's authentic. You get trained in the ways of repress yourself, put yourself down. Look, turn your attention towards all these other things. What does the ministry need? What does the community need? What does we need for social justice fights? What do we need for all of these things? Like, put that on, girl. Like, we need you to activate in this world. And when you start taking shit, I'm like, hey, I don't give a fuck. taking all this. I can't carry all of this shit.
Yeah.
And like, let me go home to myself. And just and like once you go through that, like taking all that stuff off, I think then you can communicate because you have an authentic voice. But before that, your communication is not about what you need. It's just about trying to be everything for everybody until, like I say, they'll ride your back down until you break on the side of the road and then give you a trophy and say, good job. Like you're the mom of the year. Never mind, you 200 pounds, you looking at yourself in the mirror like, what the fuck? Like, you're not attracted to yourself, like all of these other things. So I feel like being able to communicate is great if you are connected to yourself enough to be able to speak authentically about, hey, it doesn't work for me. So, like, I met this guy, right, and we're having a conversation, getting to know each other. Okay, 3 weeks. and it was really great because this is a person that was older, and so the communication I felt like was on par because the conversation wasn't about, girl, let me take you out of the way. I had over the summer several invitations to be taking places. It wasn't like that. It was like, what is your expectation when you go on a trip with a man? What do you expect him to pay for? What do you pay for? And I was like, what do you mean? What am I paying for? It was, what's your expectation? And I'm just like, what? Why is this even a I didn't say this to him. This is what I'm thinking in my head before I answered. Why is this even a conversation? If you want to go somewhere with somebody, you paying for it, right? Okay, that's what I think. Right. But it challenged me to process, reflect, and really be able to articulate for the first time to somebody. When I go on a vacation with a man, first of all, I don't accept invitations from people that I don't like or somebody that I am not sure about moving because I don't want to waste your time, energy, and effort first. Second of all, I'll travel by myself, me and my vibrator. And I'm very good. 2 minutes and I'm slick. I'm not doing a whole bunch of tearing in your face and kiki-kiing this if I don't like you. Out of my face. So for me, I told him, like, my expectation is that if a man wants to take me somewhere, that he's going to pay for it. He's going to cover the travel. He's going to cover the hotel, And that's not coming from an ego place of, if you want me, you got it. I said, no, but I think what you have to understand is what is going to be required of me. You're going to go get a haircut, and you're going to put your clothes in the bag and bring your ass. In order to give you vacation stuff, that's what you want to activate. I know what you want to activate. You want sundresses. You want, I got to go get my hair done. That's $150. My nails $100. My feet $100. When I put these outfits together, when I put my stuff, like what you want, this fresh wax, like all of these things that provide this experience that you want to have when I float off the plane is what you want. Huh? Or you want me to just clump off of there and just be like, hey. But what you want is gonna require me to spend money. And so I'm not one of those people, like I hear people on videos like, if he would need to pay your bills and I don't believe in that if you're dating someone. I don't believe in that, me personally. I pay my own bills, whatever. But if you want to go have this experience, it's important for me that you can afford to. Otherwise, if we're talking about long-term partnership, a man that can't afford to take me on a trip is not a candidate for long-term partnership. Because financially, you probably can't afford me. Yeah. Just if you can't afford a trip, 6 months? Once, twice a year, then you can't afford to long-term partner with somebody.
Well, I go through that. Well, kind of currently, every trip I've been on with a woman in the past, I would say 4 or 5 years, it was always hey, I got the flight, you get the room, I got the flight, and we get there and we just kind of take care of each other. I've never had the expectation of a woman to come in and put a whole trip, get in there. When we get there, do some more stuff, excursions and all this other stuff. I just think that is something that I would look closely at, especially if we're dating and we like each other. Like you said, you throw in a lot of, if I like you. Well, if we like each other, I think that you would be willing to do something. Because with any man that's a good man, you give a little, a man will give a lot. And it's about effort. And I don't really want a person that feels like, oh, well, if you can't take me, get me there, feed me, take me on an excursion, take me on a boat ride, take me on a horse and carriage, well, then I don't want to go. Well, then you're not going.
Well, I mean, but you've never had an experience, too, where the expectation is that you're going to cover something. I guess in my opinion, and you don't know me, and I don't know you like that. I don't think you ever get in a situation where you do it, then the woman's just gonna come empty-handed and not do anything if she likes you.
That's the key. That's just like the door.
Like, no.
That's just like the door.
The expectation.
That's what that tells me. The door. It tells me that when we do things together, we're doing it together. It's not I'm out here to treat you every day like you are my child.
You don't go on trips every day, Keron. You might go once a year, maybe twice. You
Facts.
ain't.
But what I'm saying though is, the expectation is because yeah, I want to take you places. And I do want vacation experience, right? I do want all this stuff to talk about. Yeah, for sure. I don't want you coming up in there looking out. Yeah, I need you to come.
Dusty.
Come ready.
Little babe, you didn't have time to get your hair done before you came.
But I think part of what conveys to me in that circumstance that you care about me and how we go forward is your willingness to say, dang, all right, you want to go to Italy. Well, I got this, I got these points. Let me just get the hotel.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I think for me, if you're getting, it's different phases. I think it's levels. I think at the beginning, if it's something that's new, no. My investment is
I'm not
less.
taking you at the beginning.
That's it. That's the point. You got to determine at what point. Because for me,
Exactly.
at a certain level. So, for
Right.
instance, with Southwest, I get these companion passes, right? It's, yeah. So
I don't use them on everybody.
you might get companion pass privilege. You know what I'm saying? You might get. I have this Marriott titanium status. Now there might be some points and some privileges and some perks. But coming out the gate, I think that's what it is. If it's somebody that you like, you are gonna do it together. You know what I'm saying? Now this person you're gonna pay, sir. But I think
Getaways are not dates.
no, but they're not. But I think
we're not
also
doing a
the
getaway
other
date.
part of that
Right.
is that I know for me, just even if let's say there's a trip planned and you paid, because you should. Leading up to that though, I'm the person that I will order outfits. Like I'll just be on Instagram and see clothes and be like, "Oh, he look good in that," and I order. So everything in your suitcase might have been. I'm the one that got your outfits together. I'm the one that did the coordinated swimsuit thing with your situation. Like
We're loving you in our way.
happened-
We're loving you. Like you said,
Yeah.
there's a way that you're loving somebody. We're loving you in our way. Yeah, we're not doing it financially as far as the hotel, the flight, and all
Right.
that. But we're
Not
doing.
gonna
But it should be
other
something.
things. We're doing.
It should
our
be
other-
evident to
And
the
I
other
think
person.
also I've heard on multiple occasions. It's just the offering.
Oh yeah.
Like I have
Definitely.
offered to pay for the dinner. I have offered.
Yes.
Hold on.
If you go to the
Absolutely.
restroom, I picked up the
that's
tab.
the
Like
thing.
I've
You
done
can't
that.
Just
offer.
reach
You
for-
cannot
just
offer
reach.
with a certain
Just-
kind of man.
it's
You
the
have to
reach.
just do it.
You have to do it
Yeah.
because they're not going to let you. But it's the offering that makes them feel like, oh,
Yeah.
okay, she's not just here for the
Right.
the food. 'Cause
Yeah,
I've
and
been
you gotta
there.
like you
That
gotta
was
you
years
gotta
ago.
like them though. You gotta like them though.
That was
See,
years
that's
ago.
when you
I
walk to
was
the
there.
restroom and you tell the waitress, "Say, slide this." 'cause
Yeah, I got it.
You're not gonna let me do this.
Yeah.
And then they got the shock face, like, what the?
Yeah, we all been
Hold
there.
on.
We all been there, but you like them.
Yeah, I like
That's
Right.
somebody you like.
Definitely.
Right.
When I like you,
Once
I'm
you
gonna
don't,
I'm gonna play my part. I'm
pass
gonna
on that.
I'm gonna do my part.
Yeah, and I'm just agreeing with you guys. I think it definitely has to be that there's something mutual going on, that we really care for one another in such a way. I don't think I've ever been in a place where it was early on and didn't want to go with somebody who was trying to take me. I don't know that I've been there. I've definitely only done that with people that I've cared enough about to make those types of
But we at a
moves.
big age now, girl. It's like they're offering
you
it
shouldn't
as
be
a
doing that.
means.
No.
What my dad
Like,
says,
choose me.
you tell what my daddy says. He got I got an OG daddy that pop his shit. It's like, see, that's just the way you want to expedite, getting you. My daddy said the objective is to get a woman from shaking her head from left to right to up and down. See? And the way that you expedite that is, maybe if she hearing y'all just at her house, y'all just around at the restaurant, she gonna shake, her head gonna keep going from left to right. But when you get on the beach, you see the scenery, the head go a lot faster. You gonna expedite the process. And I'm just like, oh, is that what that is?
Yeah, I mean,
I think that speaks to. I mean, if you met a guy and y'all been talking for a week and he said next week I'm going to Cabo, you want to come? I mean, that's up to you. You like him that much? But I think if you're, from my perspective, and I'm not a woman, but if I were a woman and I was in a circumstance where I've been talking to a gentleman for a week, and a week later he said, "Do you want to go to Cabo with me?" I would be like, "This nigga trying to fuck."
Of course.
Oh yeah.
and
I thought you were going to say, for some people, they feel like it's okay. Like, they'll
That's
go.
okay. That's
Like,
what I'm saying. If
that's
it's okay
the
with
internet.
you go.
The
I
internet.
think it's if you can't afford to take yourself
Yes.
places.
If it's
You
okay,
may be
you
more
go,
likely
if that's
to
what you
go
want.
on one of these sexual exchange
Yeah.
trips.
But why wouldn't you?
I got that.
Not doing
get
it.
away from it.
Right.
It's a bonus if someone takes me, but I'm going.
First of all, I don't want to go on a trip with somebody I don't like because I would like to be mutually involved. I would like to be pleasuring each other.
Yeah.
I don't want to go on a dry trip.
No.
Like, you know what I mean?
I'm not.
Like,
And
this
that's not
ain't no
even
fun for
trips.
me. I'd rather
That's
be by myself.
dates too.
Yeah.
Like I don't go out just because you ask me. Okay,
I can
babe,
afford my own steak.
please.
For sure.
Can.
I
Yeah.
can.
Yeah, that makes sense. That
I
makes
feed
sense.
myself. I take myself out. It's fine. But if I go, I chose to go.
go.
You didn't pick me.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
chose to be here.
That makes sense.
That's why it's important to have your own stuff. You know, because then at that point you have to settle for nothing. I don't have to settle. I don't have to go anywhere and just to say I went to a place because I can't afford to take myself. So
That's
I
why
can
we
be
single at a
be
big age.
selective. Be very selective.
There's always a choice.
That's why.
Yeah.
It's a choice.
Choice.
Okay,
Choices are always a
we have
choice.
to give advice to the youngsters, and I think a lot of stuff has already been advice. But I'm going to say this, and it's not. And I'm prepared for pushback. Okay, I'm going to choose violence. Now, I can personally say I have not been romantically involved with any of the people on the panel today. So I'm going to say what I have to say without having any experiences with them and the like. I believe that just being in a sorority, you know, I ain't got high numbers, but being in a sorority, being around women, being connected in sisterhood with a lot of people, that many men aren't as good as they think they are at sex. Okay, here we go. We have to have a pivot here.
Wait. Get myself together here.
And I believe this is important to discuss because ego trip. Come back next week for part 2 of this episode. Thank you so much for joining me for this episode of Namaste, y'all. If you haven't already, be sure that you follow us wherever you get your social media fixes. And also make sure you check out our upcoming community events because we want to connect with you, not just in the virtual space, but in person. I look forward to hearing from you soon. Namaste, y'all.